everybody, happy Thursday. And when it's Thursday, it's either an FAQ or what's in the news. And today it's FAQ. There hasn't been anything, honestly, that exciting in the news. If there is something you want me to address, let me know. Let me know below and then I'll save it for next week. But today I have 3 questions and I'm going to try to get through them. I know sometimes my videos are really long. Like I contemplated making my stuttering video 2 videos, like what causes it and then what do we do or something, because I talk a lot and I'm sorry. But okay, let's get crack-a-lackin' on this then. So first question, hashtag Kati FAQ, and I do still search for the hashtags, so you can use that. I've been through your eating disorder videos, but I'm still struggling to understand what eating disorder I have. I haven't gotten an official diagnosis from my doctor, although my CBT therapist, whom I've just started seeing, says that I have binge eating disorder. I don't purge, and I can't exercise because of my health condition, but I do restrict, and I have reached low weights in the past, which are contributing to the health problems I have now. I'm so depressed because I'm at my heaviest, and I feel so fat even though my BMI is at a healthy level. Don't even get me started on BMIs. To have BED, binge eating disorder, do you have to be overweight? Good question. When I research BED, there's always an emphasis on losing weight while recovering. That means that I need to lose weight, right? I don't understand. Please help. Now, we have not talked as a community that much about binge eating disorder, even though it's now in the DSM. Hooray! So I looked it up and I read about it a little bit more just to make sure that I'm giving you all of the information. And so I'm reading from the DSM. And binge eating disorder, the short and fast of it is that no, you don't have to be overweight. There is a lot of emphasis on losing weight because, now let me read you some of the criteria. Binge eating disorder means that you have recurrent episodes of binge eating, duh. And the episode of binge eating is just like what we talk about in bulimia, where it's eating in a discrete period of time. They usually say within any 2-hour period or so, an amount of food that is definitely larger than what most people would eat in a similar period of time under similar circumstances. So if you're rushed to eat, you might finish your burger like boom in 10 minutes, but if you're just having a conversation with friends, it might take a little longer. So keeping that all in mind, you have a sense of lack of control over what you're eating and how much you're eating during that time. And your binge eating episodes are associated with eating more rapidly than normal, eating until you feel uncomfortably full, eating large amounts of food when not actually even feeling hungry, eating alone because you're embarrassed about how much you eat and how fast you eat it, and you feel disgusted with yourself or depressed and very guilty about the eating afterwards. You also, it happens at least once a week for 3 months, and there is a lot of other criteria and a lot of other things about being mild, moderate, but 1 to 3 binges per week would be mild. And it would be my guess that if you fall under more of the mild portion of binge eating disorder, that you could be a normal weight. We've all eaten more than we thought we should at one point or another, and some people do it off and on, and as long as it's not happening every day, all day, chances are you're not going to gain an incredible amount of weight. And so the short of it, like I said, is that no, you don't have to be overweight, but most people who struggle with binge eating disorder do find themselves gaining weight, do find themselves becoming overweight, and that is kind of the health concern on the flip side. Even though it's just as dangerous as being underweight, underweight can actually even be more dangerous. There's a lot of medical debate. Maybe I should have a doctor to come on and talk about it, but this is just that other side of it, and it's the same thing. We're using food to cope. And so because you don't purge and you can't exercise, but you are restricting, my guess would be that you have what I still call EDNOS, but it's eating or feeding disorder, I don't even know, it's not otherwise specified, it's something like that. I don't like that term because it's way too long, but I would say you probably have EDNOS, but if you're struggling with binge eating disorder, you don't have to be overweight. That's the criteria. And if you want me to do more videos about binge eating disorder, let me know below. Okay, question number 2. Hey, Kati, I didn't want to ask this publicly, as that would mean outing myself, or as outing myself isn't what I want. I'm hoping you could do a video about prostitution. Like, why do we do it? Why is it hard to leave? And how is it used as coping? Stuff like that. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't have a lot of experience working with people who've been prostitutes or are involved in situations like that. However, I do have quite a lot of experience with mainly females, I guess I would say, although we know that there are like mental illness and struggles, and the sex trade does not only affect females. I recognize that. I know there are a lot of men out there who struggle with stuff like this too, but I have had a lot of clients who use sex as a way to cope. It's almost like because, and this is just in my experience, and I would encourage all of you, this is actually the reason I brought this question onto this video, is because I want everybody to comment below. If you have any experience, if you have any thoughts about this, I'd like to know what other people think about it and how better we can help each other if someone is struggling with getting out, or if someone does use sex as a way to cope. Because my experience, many of my clients who had a sexual abuse past have found that sex is the way that they equate love, or they equate attention, or both things, or many emotional needs that they have, they equate with having sex. And so they'll utilize sex in a way in their life when they, you know, are feeling detached from people, or they just need a connection. It doesn't matter if they love them. It oftentimes doesn't have anything to do with them actually caring about the person. It's the fact that having sex means that they're getting attention, that they're getting what they need, and they're getting their emotional needs met in some fashion. And so that coping, and the reason that we're using sex as a coping skill, is what makes it hard to get out of. The same way it's hard to get rid of our eating disorder and hard to get rid of our self-harm, but it can be done. It's just a process. We have to slowly put off the urges. We have to slowly talk back to the voice. We have to get a lot of support from therapists and doctors. And if any of you find yourself in situations like that, please see a doctor, get checked out, make sure that all of that stuff is okay. And group therapy can be really cathartic for this as well, because there's a lot of shame around being in the sex trade, or being a prostitute, or using sex as a means to get some other needs met. And it's good to know that you're not alone, that there are a lot of other people struggling as well. So I would encourage all of that. Let's see if I answered all the questions. Why we do it. Some people who find themselves, you know, as becoming prostitutes is almost, and if you disagree, this is totally fine, but this is obviously just like from what I've read and what this person and I talked about. People will become prostitutes because their life at home is so terrible, they see no way out. It's almost like the same reason a lot of the kids I used to treat when I worked in downtown Los Angeles joined gangs, is because they had no family system. There was nothing at home. Half the time their mom or dad was high or drunk or beating them or something, so they wouldn't want to go home. And then they fall victim, and you know, people prey on young kids when they're just wandering around the streets trying to find something to do. And when pimps actually look for, this is something I learned working downtown, that when pimps look for girls, they usually woo them and like date them first. And so they feel like, oh, okay, well, I'm part of this and I love him, and now he's just asked me to do this because of our relationship. And it really messes with our brain, and it can really confuse us about what sex means and how worthy are we and what we're worth. And it gets all of that really convoluted. But the main reason that we started is because we lack a real foundation at home, and we're looking for some form of family. And it's hard to leave, like I said, because of the coping skills. So I hope that helps. And if you guys want more videos on any of these, just let me know in the comments. That's how I figure out what to do next. Now, journal topic. I really like this one. Are you ready? A bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking, because her trust, or his trust, is not on the branch, but in its own wings. Always believe in yourself. I really like that. It's not because they trust that the branch is going to be okay, but they trust in themselves. So they'll take risks, and they'll do things that maybe we think, oh, that doesn't look quite so sturdy, but they trust in themselves. So what are you doing to trust in yourself today, tomorrow, this week? Let me know. I love you all. See you on Monday. Bye.